Hi there and welcome back to Japan, where we're going to be checking out Refrain Mayday, the new song from ALIA. As always, this is the review video. If you want to see the reaction I just recorded, pause this video, click the little link in the description below, which will open a separate little YouTube plan where you can see the song along with me, just in case you haven't heard it, or in case you want to see my reaction upon first hearing it. Alright, are you ready for the review? Because I'm about to jump into that. Spoiler alert. So, like I say, check out the reaction first if you need to. Here comes a review. Alright, don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, first things first, before we talk about the song, which I really enjoyed, but there's a lot to unpack on this one. The first thing I need to really talk about is I want to say a massive credit for the writing and the studio work. I'll talk about the writing in a minute, but the production and mixing on this is absolutely brilliant. I mean, some of the best I've ever heard. Everything sounds big, and I don't mean in a sort of artificially improved way. I mean the way it's mixed, everything fills the headphones beautifully, you know, all the sounds are nicely spread out, the drum kit sounds like it's spread around you, you can hear the piano sounds like, you know, you can hear all the various parts of it, everything feels very rounded, and I love that. Nothing gets in the way of anything else as well. All the sounds sound quite precise considering how much is going on. So I just wanted to say, first of all, before we get into anything else and before I forget it, a massive credit to the studio work that was done on this. And I think for a band like ALIA as well, this is particularly important, particularly relevant, particularly useful, because this is a band who have a very big, you know, they have a plethora of sounds within all of their songs, you know, and this is one of the things I like about them. It makes them dynamic, but it does also mean that there's a lot on the plate they have to deal with. A similar issue to that which Wagaki band have to deal with, because there's so many various musicians in the band that you know, and again, like with Wagaki band, the thing they share in common is that they are very good at writing their arrangements so that, you know, the band members are not tripping over on each other. They always seem to have something really useful for everyone to do. Everyone complements each other's sound, everyone does something slightly different and engaging, but at the same time it is very important still to have a studio crew, engineers, the creative people on that side of the desk who know how to engineer it in a way that you can hear everything nicely and crisply. And like I said, just the studio work on this was absolutely fantastic, so massive credit to that. Now moving into the song, yeah, I mean, as you guys know, if you saw the end of year awards, I've been giving a lot of credit to ALIA recently, especially listened to them once in the first year, as I remember, but we listened to them many more times in the second year, which is why second year in the end of year awards that have just gone, I gave them the award for the group who most surprised me, who I most got a sort of surprise enjoyment from. I went from thinking, oh, normal Japanese band with one good song, to wow, they've got a lot of really good songs. And you know, that was a real good joy for me, and obviously I've given them the both awards on both years for Best Bridge. Now this wasn't the greatest bridge ever, but again, a good bridge. They wrote a proper original song. It had a nice little piano solo that went into a violin bit, and then you could hear everything sort of descending through that violin bit into the breakdown for the vocals, and then shooting back up for the last chorus and the crescendo. So that was nicely handled. I like the way they did that. But still, the majority of the interesting writing happened just in the way that the song sort of altered its flow, altered its direction. It started out in a very anime-themed tune sort of way, and it had that sort of, you know, girl standing, by-railing, overacting, no one behaves like this in real life, it's all so much theatre, by-railing, and you're always thinking when you see those scenes, it's like, don't jump. They never do, which I'm really glad. But it was a nicely done sort of opening bit with just the sort of vocal melody coming and everything was swelling around it. At that point, actually, as well as that sort of reference to a lot of how a lot of those sort of more ballad-like anime intros begin, one thing that really came across, I was thinking a lot at that moment of Aiko, the Japanese singer Aiko, who's got a very similar habit for that style of vocal production, because this is one of the interesting things. Everything, like I said, was very well produced, but the vocals were very sharp, clear, very little effect, very little production done on these, which is reminds me a lot of Aiko's famous for this. Obviously mainly doing her work is mostly with a sort of a live band, but very piano focused as well, piano with like a guitar rock band in the background as well, but her voice is always very pure, very unaffected, no echo, nothing like that on it, and this sounded a lot like that as well, which was interesting. I think it worked for bringing out a bit more of the humanity in her voice and the singer's voice here, and really giving a sort of a clarity to, if you like, the message, to, you know, really sort of putting the because she's one of those singers, and I always mention when we have singers like this, who I can understand if anyone says that her voice is not the most powerful, it's not that type of voice, but she has one of those voices where there's a lot of emotion and humanity in her voice. It comes across, you feel like she's almost talking to you, and there are some singers like that, some singers of some bands we cover on this channel, and I like that style of singing as one particular style. I think some people maybe overlook what a quality that is when you've got a voice that really connects with people, and I think for all of the beautiful work that happened in the studio here, I liked that at first I was a bit unsure, but as the song went on, I liked that the engineering staff, the producers, mixer, or the producer mainly, had left the voice very sharp, very clear, and very direct in the whole sound of the song. So that for me was just one of the many things that I really enjoyed about the overall sound of this song. But then from the verse it went into that chorus. The chorus, like I say, is again like with some of their songs, and some really good songs like Impulse. I love the song Impulse, but it's got one of those choruses that at first is hard to get into because it's got very fast vocal delivery. And usually big catchy choruses, they can have fast words in them, but they're usually not all fast lyrics. They usually have a sort of a change in tempo of lyrics. This again was a chorus with lots of fast lyrics, which I think takes away a little bit from the catchiness, but does help it have a sort of an emotional quality. You can hear the sort of panic and passion and build up in the motion of the song. It sounds so dramatic. Reminds me a little bit of Yoshida-san by Silent Siren. Very different song, but I remember when I first heard that, I remember commenting, because I listened to that as part of an album I listened through for the S album by Silent Siren, and I said a similar thing. I was like, well, this is one of those choruses where the vocal delivery is so fast that it kind of, maybe if they had a slow vocal delivery, it would add to the catchiness. But then I rarely listen to songs twice because I think that's a bit of a cheap cash in for views, but I was told no, go back and check it out with the video and really get a grasp of what the song's about. And I checked it out and I was like, oh, okay, I get it actually. Then I suddenly loved it afterwards when I thought about, actually, it's supposed to sound panicked, it's supposed to sound like a build-up of emotion. And then in that context it made much more sense. The problem is a lot of the time fast vocal delivery, those are the ones where I don't pick up the lyrics so well because my Japanese is very slow. But in this particular case I think that's what they were going for again. It was that sort of swell of fast emotional lyrics, and so in that context it worked. But like I say, not the catchiest chorus, but it worked in an emotional way, and with the strings and everything beneath it, it really felt big and grand and helped as well by that mix that made everything sound nice and wide and spacious. I thought it was, it was one of those choruses that it worked in the context of what it was. Is it going to get them lots of radio play? Maybe not, but is it going to keep people really engaged? And people, it's the sort of chorus that earns people more of an emotional connection to the song, because I think you can feel the song, you can feel what it's about, and I think you can feel, people remember songs either because they're catchy or because they feel emotionally relevant to them. So I think in that way the chorus works in that sort of sense more than as a catchy sort of radio-friendly one. Second verse, again, it lent very much on great writing in the way it suddenly went into that choppy guitar. Brilliant work from the producers to use the gate to make the guitar cut very quickly, a gate effect. So the guitar was cutting very quickly. That added a really sort of nice bounce to things there. And then just the way it built up through there went very rocky. It kind of went charging for a minute. Went to your next chorus, your bridge, which I already talked about, last chorus, crescendo. Just the whole song had a sense that it was constantly moving, shifting, keeping interesting. It was awash with tons of ideas. I thought it was just really engaging, really interesting, really full on. Now, as always, we're honest on this channel, we don't just kiss up to things, so if I was trying to pick holes in this, like I say, it would be very hard for me to do so, but I would probably just say that with the song having so many ideas, it would be nice if it was maybe rooted in a slightly catchier chorus. But I think that is made up for the fact that there's an emotional payoff to the song, if you know what I mean. The song, every time it comes around to the chorus, it feels like a big sort of cathartic release. So in a way that kind of, it works. You feel like you are coming back to a place of relevance every time you come back to the chorus. So I really enjoyed this a lot, like I say. Not for everyone, I can imagine, but I do think it adds a lot, and I think tonally as well, again, it's quite different from most of the, if not all of the ALIA songs we've heard previously, so I think it really does add something to to their sort of portfolio of songs, and I love the fact that every time you hear them do a song, you can hear the clear identity, you can hear how they've tried to go for something different. Especially, I mean, I haven't really listened to their album tracks, but just listening to their singles alone, you can hear in their singles, each one has a different idea. They're not just trying to kick out the same thing, they're looking for each song to have its own identity, they're crafting songs. I really love that factor of what the band is. And you can certainly give a lot more leeway to bands who are trying things than to bands who are just sort of perfecting the same sound. So yeah, like I said, I just really enjoyed this. So I will definitely be trying to listen to this again, see how much it grows on me over time. I think it's probably one of those songs that might be a bit of a grower just as you get more familiar with it, get more used to the chorus and everything, and it starts to become more settled in your head. Very interested to see what you guys think, as always. You know where the comments section is, all the liking, subscribing, usual YouTube stuff is much appreciated, but comments are what we really love. We love the community side of things here, so if you leave comments, we'll try and get back to you and hopefully start a bit of a conversation about the songs as well. As always, if you want to keep more involved in community, we have an active Discord, we've got our Reddit, we've got Facebook, Twitter, loads of stuff going on, so please follow the other social medias linked in the description below. Also, do remember that you can obviously follow us on Patreon if you want. Big thank you to those of you who do. I know it's not possible for everyone, but I really greatly appreciate, like I say, you guys are keeping the channel afloat because we're a non-monetized channel, so the Patreons really do a world of good for us. And just a massive thank you to yourself for making it through to the end of the video. So hopefully we'll see you soon in Japan, but until that happens, for now, ciao ciao.